Welcome back, Lotus fans. I am Bryant Cook, and tonight we're playing Lotus Combo in Pioneer, my favorite deck of the format. I do love that Neoform deck too, but Lotus Field is really where it's at. This is what I've played the longest in the format. I have the most fun playing it, and I've had so much fun playing this deck recently that I've probably played somewhere between 15 and 20 leagues over the last 2 weeks. Like, I'm just really loving this deck right now. And, well, Will Kruger had a pretty good idea, and if you're unfamiliar with Will Kruger, they are X-Whale on Twitter, X-Whale on Magic Online. They tweeted about Omniscience with Peer into the Abyss. Okay, well, that's not exactly anything new. Well, this is a win condition, so you get to cut Mastermind's Acquisition, you don't have to run Fave Wishes, you don't have to run a Thassa's Oracle. Instead, your win condition is also a card that's useful in the combo, and that's really interesting. So Peer into the Abyss becomes our primary win condition, and Lair the Hydra is our backup win condition. I'll explain both of these. So the idea with Peer into the Abyss is that, Jarvis, you did the math, you can win the game by casting Peer a whole bunch of times, but 256 was the number. So 256, that was the max it could do. Lair the Hydra, it seems bad that you would want to win with this card because it would need haste, because the land needs to already be in play. Well, if you start the turn with a Lotus Field and a Thespian stage copying Lotus Field, Lair the Hydra becomes really interesting because you can play it as your land drop for turn, copy it with Thespian stage, animate Thespian stage, pump it with 20 mana, and attack for lethal. Okay, so it has pseudo haste. That's a lot better. And if you've already made your land drop, you can use a Boreal Grazer to get it into play. All right, well, now I really like this as a backup win condition. Peer into the Abyss, the idea is that you target your opponent, and then you Bala Ged Recovery, back to Peer into the Abyss, you Bala Ged again, you Peer into the Abyss, you Bala Ged again, you Peer into the Abyss, you play Lier, and then you do it 2 more times. That will be lethal. Okay. That seems very reasonable, right? Well, if you look at my last video, I played the Pro Tour list, and I did not like it. Like, let's just call it as it was. I didn't care for it. And I talked about how much I hate Omniscience. That was true. And then I 5-0'd, and it got published a list with no Omniscience and a Thassa's Oracle. And I liked that list, but the difference was Oracle was still sort of a dead draw in the deck, except you got to scry sometimes with the Thassa's Oracle mid-combo or whatever, and that was cute. I did like that. It was better than having a dead card like Omniscience or Mastermind's Acquisition. Well, what changed was that Peer into the Abyss became the win condition, and Omniscience then had more value than something like a Thassa's Oracle. And I think that's where the scales tipped, and now I'm willing to play this card again. It's not just like this cutesy card you didn't actually need in order to win the game. It's a actual piece of an engine that is required. So Omniscience gained some value, and now with Peer into the Abyss, you have a better card than Mastermind's Acquisition and a better card than Thassa's Oracle, at least in the context of this deck. So I've been playing this deck nonstop, and this will be my first time playing Hope Tender in the main deck. I've played, well, that's not true, okay. Well, I've played the Pro Tour list, and I've played some lists previously with Hope Tenders, but they were very different. So today will be my first time playing a more stock list with the untappers in there. I've never been a huge fan of them in theory, but I haven't had time to practice them because I've been testing out other versions of the deck. So this will be a dry run for me. But previously I was running 3 Emergent Ultimatum. I cut one of those for a Hope Tender because I found that the deck was really good. I was winning a lot, but there were some matches where I was just raced, and I didn't like that. So we're going to try to speed up a little bit with some additional untappers and, you know, just get the job done. Okay, so I believe that covers the main deck. Yep, okay. So in the sideboard, Silence. That's an interesting choice, right? Most people run Mystical Dispute or Thought Distortion, Dragonlord Jamoka, Sphinx of the Final Word. Why would I run Silence? In all of my testing, I wanted something that was expensive that said can't be countered, you win the game. Alright, well, Niv Mizzet was a card I traditionally love because it works so well with Peer into the Abyss. That's fine, but it's open to spot removal, and Aether Gust is an issue. So the Pro Tour list ran Dragonlord Jamoka and Sphinx of the Final Word. Sphinx of the Final Word doesn't protect Lier or Omniscience, both of which are cards you need in order to win the game with Peer into the Abyss or Lair of the Hydra. So Sphinx I actually think is kind of a trap. And then you have Dragonlord Dromoka, which is the best of the 6 mana effects in my opinion. But the problem is that it just gets Aether Gusted over and over. I ran a list with 2 2 Dragonlord Dromoka in it, and constantly it was just being put on top of or bottom of my deck, and then my opponent would capitalize in some other fashion. So I did not like Dragonlord Dromoka at all. So I was running a lot of Thought Distortions, and then I just kept on losing to Narset's Reversal. And I felt like there wasn't really a good answer. Mystical Dispute got outscaled very quickly in this format. So I was looking at lists, and I noticed that Joe Lissette's Pro Tour list had 1 silence in the main deck, and I was like, that's interesting. Well, what if I played it in the board? So I started with 2 silence, 2 Dragonlord Dromoka, and then before I knew it, it was just 4 silence, and I've been bullying the control decks ever since. So if they decide to Narset's Reversal, I get my silence back, and then I just go off again next turn. If they have something like Dovin's Veto, I am trading up on mana against a deck that its counterspells can be expensive. Like Absorb is 3 mana. So you can bully them with your mana. And then, so they cast a Dovin's Veto into an Absorb, and now you just cast 2 powerful spells and win the game. That's sort of the idea there. So I've just really, really been liking this card. Yes, it's not a 6 mana Haymaker, but I think Silence is more efficient and just better in general. You can also board it in the mirror match if you so choose. That's another way that you can use that card. It's just been phenomenal. Leyline of Sanctity is primarily for Rakdos, but it can also come in against something like Abzan Greasefang, for example, because they board up to 8 or even 9 discard spells sometimes. It's very good in those 2 matchups. Perilous Voyage was a card that wasn't initially on my radar. I was running Fading Hope and not loving it because I kept on losing to Damping Spheres or Needles or whatever. And Stefan Schultz, you may know them as Mental Misstep on Magic Online, suggested Perilous Voyage, and I started testing it as a 3 of, and I absolutely loved it. And I still love 3, but today I'm playing the 2 Hope Tenders in the sideboard, and well, I'm not allowed to run 17 sideboard cards, so I had to cut something. I cut the 3rd copy of Perilous Voyage and the 3rd copy of Needle for 2 additional Hope Tenders. If I don't decide that I don't like the Hope Tenders, I would put a 3rd Voyage, a 3rd Needle, and the Ultimatum, the 3rd Ultimatum back in. But for today, we're going to run 3 Hope Tenders. 3 is the magic number, apparently, and see how it goes. Path of Peril, Bogles has been really huge in the leagues. It's good against mono white. Yes, you can run something like Ritual of Sut or Depopulate, because those are better in larger creature matchups like Angels or red-green aggro. The thing is, I'm not really interested in sideboarding into Zakama control. I don't want to board out. So when you board in 4 Wraths plus Zakama, you're boarding out the entire combo. You're boarding out Omniscience, Emergent Ultimatum, Peer, Behold, Dark Petition, all of it gets sided out. And I'm not really interested in that. So I am running a smaller Wrath that you can get with Dark Petition and cast it off of, which is Path of Peril. You don't have to run my list. You're not going to hurt my feelings, but this is the sideboard that I've been working with, and I've liked it a lot. So this is what we'll be playing today. Needles, obviously, for mono green as well, in case you couldn't piece that together. But that's my deck tech. I hope you enjoyed it. If you have any thoughts, comments, questions, suggestions, whatever, put those down below. I always do my best to answer those. But I want to hop on in and play this deck. I've been playing it almost every single night because I've been loving it so much. I know that I've said that like 5 times in the deck tech, but it's true. So let me know what you think, and I'll see you in the first match. If you enjoyed this video, make sure to leave a like, comment, and subscribe. You can also show your support by becoming a member of this channel. You get sweet perks such as badges, emotes, exclusive members-only content, and access to our members Discord section. As you increase the tiers, there are other rewards such as shop discounts, sideboard guides, early access to videos, and even free donation decks. Click the join button down below to find out more. We also have other ways you can support us, such as theepicstorm.com/shop or submitting a donation deck via theepicstorm.com/donation decks. That's enough for now. Let's play some Magic. Match number 1, we are on the play. Okay, so we have a Temple with a Grazer, which is great, but we're lacking the initial green source. I still think that this is a key. We have double impulse to dig for Lotus Field, plus any other land. One of the things about running this build is you have 6 impulses. Those really do help you go further into the deck. That was one thing that I really liked about the Pro Tour list. When we go, if you went back and looked at the deck list that I showed you in the deck tech, you could, in theory, cut the 2 additional shimmers. And with that, you could gain Emergent Ultimatum 3, and a second main deck Hope Tender if you so choose. That was one thing I was considering during deck building, was going back down to 4 Impulse, but I've just really, really liked the 6. Play the Temple, triggers. We'll keep the Sanctum. Pass. Otawara. Okay. Think I'm going to keep Grazer in hand. Let's play the Hope Tender. Not playing out the stage in case I draw into Lotus Field. I don't want to have to sacrifice my stage. And they missed their land drop. They pass back. Dark Petition. I'll play stage now. And if I find Lotus Field, I can play the Arboreal Grazer and then get into play a turn earlier. So let's cast Impulse. No such luck. Let's pick up an Impulse. And we are the beatdown, so let's get in there. When it misses their land again, we find Otawara. Impulse. No Lotus Field. I guess we'll take a Hidden Strings. Play the Otawara. Impulse again. There we go. Beat down. 16. Like it. There are 8 cards in hand. They discard a Lotus Field, so we're playing the Mirror. Okay, so we'll tap for Chew, play a Lotus Field. Copy. Lotus Field's sacrifice ability resolves. We will exert the Hope Tender and untap our lands. This is a matchup where the Hope Tender really shows off how good it is. So we'll untap the Hope Tender here. And now we will exert again, untap, untap. Sweet. Hidden Strings, we'll do Lotus Field, Hope Tender. Yes, yes. And no. Tap this for black. Exert the Hope Tender. Dark Petition. Let's get Ultimatum. Green. Emergent. We get Peer into the Abyss. Omniscience. And Behold. Easy game. Sweet. So we've taken game number 1. It's a lot of cards to potentially have in this matchup. I think that one thing you're allowed to do is board out Grazer when you have Silence. Traditionally in this matchup, I've liked Arboreal Grazer because it allows you to break the rules on turn order. So if your opponent is on the play, you can have a turn 1 Grazer, and all of a sudden you're on the play. Well, when you have Silence in your deck, you can bully them a little bit and change how that works. We're at 62. This is a speed-based matchup, so I'm actually just going to board out the Shimbers because we don't really have enough time to play 6 Impulses. So I'm going to try this. Okay, they've taken a mulligan. I will keep. They kept 6. Temple of Mystery. Okay. Draw for turn. It's a Vizier. We need to draw a land that isn't Thespian stage, so that way we don't have to sacrifice the stage. Botanical Sanctum. Into Scrying. Yep. Draw for turn. We did not draw the non-Lotus land, or non-stage land, whatever. You know what I'm trying to say here. We'll Scrying. We'll go get our own Lotus Field. Lotus Field to hand, pass the turn. The Impulse. Lotus Field enters. They have 5 in hand. Take a draw. Okay, so that was obviously decent. Play Lotus Field. We have to sacrifice these 2. I can hold up Silence, or I can cast the Impulse. So I can cycle Vizier and hold it up. I guess I can do it anyway. It's kind of free. I do have to find a stage. Draw. We'll pass. And this way I can still Impulse on their end step. And they have stage. Actually, I can double Impulse. Cycle. They copy, that's fine. Draw. Seiju. We'll cast Impulse. Don't know what we're supposed to do here. Guess we can take the Sanctum. Impulse. Maybe I'm supposed to sit on the Viziers, I'm not sure. Bala Ged, I guess. So Bala Ged theoretically represents stage, it's just incredibly slow. Draw another silence. Okay. So I can also I can just like silence walk them here. Like you're not allowed to cast spells. Like with triple silence in hand, like these are just one white time walk. Draw for turn 4. Play the Besage. So we lose if they have a Mystical Dispute, but that's not a card most people are playing at the moment. Discard. Technically, I could go for it here. Let's get rid of the Hope Tender. We'll pass. And our opponent's upkeep, silence. So you might be wondering, why am I casting it in the upkeep? Why am I not letting them just play something? So if they have Thought Distortion in their list, it's a card that makes me lose the game. I'm not really interested in that. Alright, so let's Sylvan Scrying. We'll go get Lotus Field. Play the Lotus Field. Pass the turn. And their upkeep, silence. They do have Mystical Dispute. Okay, I'm not allowed to pay. If they have the win here, they got it. They didn't have the dispute when I played Pore. Okay, that is Emergent mana. They cycle Vizier. And this should be deterministic, as long as our opponent doesn't mess up. And that'll do. Alright, let's go to game 3. Hit submit. Me missing that land drop really cost us that game. Yes, I'd like to be on the play. Good hand. Keep. Bala Ged Recovery. Pass. Sanctum into Grazer. Okay. Draw. Let's Scrying. I'm going to go get Besage. Pass. Lotus Field. We drew Silence, which is obviously good. We'll play Lotus Field. We sacrifice these. Pass. If they have Stage Copy here, it's a little bit of a pain in the butt. Bala Ged. Hidden Strings. 5 mana into Pore. Discards Lier. 4 mana. Mastermind's Acquisition. Okay. Play Stage. We'll pass. So if they have Thought Distortion, they can untap, play land, distortion me. The thing about copying with Stage is I don't even have a guaranteed win. I think I'm supposed to let this resolve, because if I try to copy with Stage and they have Besage, I just get punished. And they did have the Thought Distortion. Ah, that's brutal. Okay. Yeah. That's just rough. I took the risk of them not having Distortion for Besage, and I was just wrecked. I can Besage their Stage, but if they have another Lotus Field or Stage in hand, I just get punished. They exiled 2 copies of Bala Ged, so we have to win with the land. Alright, let's cycle Vizier. Come on, deck, please. Nope. Tap this for green. Copy field. Pull up the Stage. We have to pass. Pore over pages. They're on a very old list if they're on Fae and Masterminds. Draw. Unfortunately, that doesn't do anything here. Pass the turn. They have Impulse. Hidden Strings. Emergent Ultimatum with a green open. We'll put back the Omniscience. So they have Dark Petition plus Peer. I don't know if they've played a land for turn or not. That will be the deciding factor here. If they haven't played a land, they probably have the win, but let's make them do it. They do have an untapped land. Okay. They play another Grazer. It allows them to play Lotus Field. And we're going to lose this match. Wow. Vizier. That brings them up to 5, which allows them to cast Pore over pages. It's worth noting, Lier's in the graveyard. Both their win conditions are in the graveyard, so they have to Bala Ged back their win cons. They have 1 Bala Ged in the graveyard, so they should still have 2 Bala Geds to win the game. Hidden Strings again. Sure. Put back the Omniscience. They've used 2 Hidden Strings, 3 Hidden Strings. Alright, so they're getting back the Lier. This game should be over now. I lost this game on the decision not to silence them with the Thought Distortion. Ah, that's brutal. I was so worried about the possibility of Beseiju. Okay. Or again. I'm going to pick it up. They have the win here. Might as well go on to the next round. So we're 0-1. We lost the mirror match. Arguably my own fault, but sometimes that happens. Let's win the next 4. Looking to make playing your favorite combo deck much easier? Look no further than the Epic Storm Mini Token Combo Pack, which is available at theepicstorm.com/shop for $14.99. This combo token pack comes with 84 double-sided tokens. That includes our classic Storm and Mana tokens, as well as fan favorites such as Goblins, Squirrels, and Slime Time Live. But that's not all. We've expanded this token pack to cover a variety of formats with new tokens. Stop on by theepicstorm.com/shop and make an easy decision to elevate your combo game. For round 2, we're on the draw. This seems like a keep. We need to find one land that, can sacrifice the Lotus Field. We have a lot of top end in this hand, which isn't ideal, but the fact that we've opened on stage Lotus Field means that it's a keep. Okay, so we have Grazer. Put the stage in. Pass. Hall of the Storm Giants. Draw for turn. We find that land. Beautiful. Scry. Bottom the Sylvan Scrying. We just don't need it anymore. Steam Vents. Okay. Lotus Field. Let's copy. Sacrifice. Pass. They're just playing land go. Content. So in game 1, this deck really only has Spell Pierce type effects. So we can try to bully them a little bit with our mana. The downside is that this Emergent Ultimatum isn't very good when we have all of these cards in our hand. Make disappear. Okay, I will pay. Hidden Strings. Another make disappear. I'll pay again. Hidden Strings. Untap, untap. Unfortunately, we can't really do anything. So what we will do is just cast Dark Petition and pass the turn. I'm going to go grab another Hidden Strings. Pass. Still kicking myself a little bit over that silence decision in match 1. I had the read on the Thought Distortion. I was just so worried about Beseiju blowing up my stage that I don't know. I feel like I threw that match. They play Secrets. 3 cards in their hand. Play the Beseiju. Blue. Hidden Strings. Yes, yes, no. Tap for black. Let's go straight into the Abyss. You might be saying, but Bryant, Emergent Ultimatum. It doesn't do anything right now. We go get what? Lier, Omniscience, Pore over the pages. They have removal up for Lier anyway. It just seems like a bad choice. Sweet. In comes Silence. Out goes Grazer. So I've struggled a little bit in this matchup sometimes because I'm not very sure if I should board in the Perilous Voyages. They're fine, but what I found is that it's good if our opponent leaves in the combo, and it's bad if they don't. So I'm never quite sure if I actually want these or not. I feel like 1 over the Hope Tender is okay because their deck has so much removal, but I'm never quite sure if I want both. I think I'm just going to try this. Game 2, we've opened up with Double Impulse. Once again, our top end is just so high in a blue matchup, so we're going to ship it. I don't love this, but let's see what we can do. Yeah, I'll put the Pier back. I second-guessed myself for a moment and thought maybe the Bala Ged instead, but it should just be the Pier. Driven Reef out of the opponent. We'll play Temple. Get that Scry in. Boom! Lotus Field. Secrets of the Key. Another Shivan Reef. Play Forest and we'll pass. They did not sacrifice the clue. Respecting Impulse. Or they want it for creativity. And their end step will Impulse. If they want to counter this, cool. And they do. Mystical Dispute. Play the field. We'll pass the turn. Team Vents. We'll play Lair the Hydra and pass. Another Secrets of the Key flashback. We have Adawara open if they decide to go all in. And it looks like that might be the choice here. You can have a creativity for 2. There it is. If only we didn't have Otawara. So now they have a 30-30 haste trample going into combat and then directly back into their hand. Such a shame. Cool. Alright, so we have 4, 6. We need 7 for an ultimatum. I think I want to Pore here anyway. Blue. Pore over pages. This is awkward. Alright, I'm going to take a risky play here. We're going to play the Bala Ged as a land into Lier. Next turn, I can silence. Actually, that doesn't quite work either. Well, I can play Lotus Field, and assuming that the Lier lives, there's some mixture between Hidden Strings and Silence that should win the game. 4 mana. Oh, they have another creativity. Oh, it's Big Score. Another creativity wouldn't make sense either unless they had 2 worms, so I don't know why my brain went there. They have 3 open mana. Play Lotus Field, we'll sacrifice the 2 green sources. Hidden Strings. Okay. Silence. Can't be countered. Narset's Reversal can buy them time here. And that's what they have. I'll respond with an Impulse. We find the Otawara, so if they go for another creativity, we have the trump card. So now they have their own copy of Silence, and we'll go to their turn. There's the creativity for 1. Can't be countered, worth noting, with Lier on the battlefield. They play an Otawara. Or a Worldspine Worm. Get out of here. Did I forget to attack last turn? I might have. The opponent concedes. Alright, 1-1. With Card Hoarder, renting your favorite combo deck has never been easier. There isn't a more affordable solution for Magic Online. Want to play the deck in this video? Check out the pinned comment below to easily rent the deck from Card Hoarder. Did you know you can rent the Epic Storm from Card Hoarder for as little as 7 tickets a week? We've made it simple to do so by including a button to rent the entire deck at theepicstorm.com/decklist. Match number 3, we're on the draw, and I will keep. Our opponent has revealed a Giganta is their companion. Thoughtseize. Not what I wanted to see here. Our Shimmer's about to go away. This whole hand was made possible because we had the extra impulse effects in our hand. And, well, not for long. But they took the Grazer. That's interesting. Play the Reading Pool tapped. We'll pass. That likely means that they have a follow-up discard spell. No? Okay. Draw for turn, it's Dark Petition. Play the Shimmer. The Lotus Field it is. Pass the turn. Facing Mountain into Fable of the Mirror Breaker. Okay. So, Shieldred is a card our opponent could play on their next turn. I'm wondering, and I think I'm going to do it here, if we should try to get ahead of that. Cycle a couple of these Viziers now. Cycle. Draw. Impulse. Tap for green. We'll cast Impulse because if I find a Sylvan Scrying, I can go get... I did not. Guess we'll take the Otawara. Pass the... Could blow up Fable. We'll give them a mana, but they can't dig for Shieldred. Let's try it. I guess they're getting the mana off the Goblin next turn anyway. White. Okay. Little Mardon't. Godless Shrine. They activate the Hive. So now they're attacking. We'll take 5 down to 15. They have 4 in hand. Let's Impulse. No Scrying or Stage. That's a lot of cards to not find it. I guess we'll take the Ultimatum, but we're sort of far away from making that work. Pass the turn. Deadly Dispute. They activate the Hive. So this will bring us down to 10 life. Impulse down. Go to our turn. Omniscience. Play the Sanctum. We'll cast Pore. Hope Tender Grazer. I mean, if the Hope Tender lives, there's a chance we could hardcast Omniscience next turn. This doesn't seem very likely. Get rid of the petition. We'll tap this for 3 green. Play Hope Tender. Play Grazer. Otawara. Pass. So we have 6 mana on the battlefield. We have a Hidden Strings in hand, so that represents 8 mana. So that is just short. But the Hope Tender could mean that we can hardcast the Omniscience into a win without the Thespian stage. Claim the Firstborn on my Hope Tender. Not what I wanted to see there. Oh no! So they can sacrifice my Hope Tender to the Witch's Oven. And, yeah, not good. Hive. They sack my Grazer. This puts me to 5. And they remove Dark Petition. Sure. Come on, deck, please. Oh, this untaps. I didn't realize that. Even though it was exerted by them. That's interesting. So I believe we win. Exert it, untapping Lotus Field and a Sanctum. Tap, tap. That brings me up to 9 mana. Hidden Strings, untap, untap. Okay. Tap this. And then we can exert again, untap, untap. Tap this, Omniscience. Let's Emergent Ultimatum. Peer into the Abyss, Lier, Dark Petition. Sweet. A little surprised we won that one, but I'll take it. We're facing Mardu. Leyline seems like kind of a no-brainer here. We'll get rid of the Grazers. Don't love the Hope Tender against the deck with a bunch of Claim the Firstborns. That leaves us at 58. Let's try a couple copies of Perilous Voyage, just for insurance purposes. Game 2, we've opened up a hand that has Stage, no way to dig for Lotus Field. We can't really afford the Omniscience to be discarded, so we'll mulligan, and this hand is beautiful. Keep, we'll get rid of the Hidden Strings, which seems weird, but like I mentioned, our opponent is a discard deck. So now the only thing that they can possibly discard is this Sylvan Scrying that does nothing. For 1, Witch's Oven. Sanctum, pass the turn. Godless Shrine. Play a Forest, pass. I guess I could have cast this Scrying. Could have went and got Beseiju. Mayhem Devil, you got it. Another Sylvan Scrying, okay. Let's go grab that Beseiju. We're going to take 2 damage from the Mayhem Devil for sacrificing our lands. That brings us down to 18. Duress. So now we're going to lose that Hidden Strings. They sacrifice the treasure. We take 1. 3 mana for a Fable. Okay. We take 3. We go to 14. Omniscience. We'll just copy now. Pass the turn. I think our best draw is like a Pore over Pages. Ultimatum isn't actually a good draw because we don't have the correct colors. So if we drew like Vizier into Ultimatum, that could work. They accidentally skipped their attack step. Okay. Gigantha to hand. Take a draw. Another land. Sylvan Scrying. We'll go get another Otawara. You could have grabbed Lair of the Hydra, but I don't think that's actually like a useful card. Reflection of Kiki-Jiki has entered the arena. I'm going to bounce the Mayhem Devil here. Are they going to Deadly Dispute it? It would look like they're going to. Okay. No, they got rid of the Reflection of Kiki-Jiki. Wow. Was not expecting that. They play a Sakozin into the Mayhem Devil. I'm at 11. They sacrifice a treasure for a black and a red. I'm at 9. Blood Tithe Harvester. Okay. Draw for turn. A Vizier. Let's cycle that Vizier. Hope to draw into something decent. Ultimatum? Nope, just another land. I'm gonna blow up their blood token. I don't think that mana's the choke point anymore. And then I'm going to Otawara the Mayhem Devil. Pass the turn. Go blank. So our Omniscience is going to be exiled. That's not great for us. It becomes very difficult to win without Omniscience in this build, because both Omniscience and Well, both Peer into the Abyss and the Hydra win both rely on the Omniscience. I'm not saying it's impossible to win, it's just difficult. So we go to 4. Showdown. Okay. Miracle draw step. Let's see it. Okay, would have been nice to happen last turn when I still had an Omniscience in my deck. Can we even win here? So I can get... So what I want to do... Actually, I haven't played a land. Okay, so I'm going to do Peer into the Abyss, Behold, Pore over the pages. And if they give me the 2 black cards, I still have a land drop. It's possible to win this game. Interesting. They put the Behold back. Kind of surprised by that. Okay, looks like our Peer is finally resolving. Now Pore over the pages. Untap, untap. We'll discard... I think we're going to win this, so I'll discard the Leyline. Strings. Yes, yes, no. Pore over pages. Untap, discard. Hidden strings. Yes, yes, no. Have we drawn into it yet? We have not. Cycle of Vizier. Untap the Lotus Field. Draw card. Cycle Vizier. We found Lier, that's good. Play the Lier. Now we'll Pore over pages. Untap, untap, discard Leyline. Pore over the pages again. Discard Stage, I guess. 7 cards left in deck. Hidden Strings. Making sure that I haven't found it. I have not. Okay, well I guess we can Dark Petition. It does cost us 2 mana, but it's okay. Grab Pore. We'll just draw into it. And the Pore over pages here will essentially breaks even on mana with casting the Petition. Discard a Scrying. And there's the Hydra. So we'll play the Hydra, tap this for mana. Hidden Strings. Yes, yes, no. Let's Bala Ged, get back a Hidden Strings. We're just at the point where we need to make more mana. So now we'll Bala Ged again, get back Hidden Strings. This brings us up to 16, untap. Yes, yes, no. This time we'll make some green mana. Hidden Strings again. Yes, yes, no. Tap, tap. Hidden Strings. Okay, so now what we're going to do is copy the Hydra. And now we'll Hidden Strings to untap the Hydra in the Lotus Field. Yes, yes, and sure, we'll say yes again. We'll put it onto the Lair. And now we'll activate the Lair of the Hydra, and we'll spend 23 mana and make a 23/23. I'm the one who knocks. Wahaha. 2-1. If you're still watching, make sure to give this video a like, comment, and subscribe. While you're near the description, here's a reminder to use our affiliate links if you're going to make a purchase from Amazon, Card Hoarder, or TCG Player. Just above those affiliate links, you'll find our social channels. Make sure to join those to connect with us. We have a Yorian Gamer. We're on the draw. This hand does not have a way to access Lotus Field. We'll take a mulligan. Well, this hand has Lotus Field in it, so we'll keep. I'm not sure I love the Hope Tender against Yorian decks, but we'll see. Alright, so they're on fires. Play the Temple, get our Scry on. Keep the Impulse. Pass. We need that Impulse to help us find Thespian stage. Valakut Stoneforge, okay. No turn 2 enchantment for them, that's good for us. Played the turn 2 Hope Tender, pass the turn. Chain to the Rocks. I have not been super impressed by this card yet. Like, yeah, we had that one game where it was fine, but in general, it hasn't felt great. Impulse. I think we take the strings here. We don't really need Lotus Field 3. We already have a Pore. Buy lands. But also, I mean, I believed that it was the fire stack, but it looks like it might not be unless they just have a really bad mana draw. Could just be like a weird red-white mid-range. Chain to the Rocks is in some of those lists, though. Okay, Battlefield Forge pass. Yay. Pass. I mean, if they're not doing anything. The Wandering Emperor. Okay, so this is not the Fires deck. This is just red-white mid-range. If we can draw a land next turn, we can go land, play Grazer, put Lotus Field into play, strings, Pore into Dark Petition. All we have to do is draw any land. It doesn't need to be an untapped land. So they'll attack. Sure thing. Ouch. Creativity. Atraxa. Okay, that's spicy. I don't know why, but I was not expecting creativity. Draw. Alright, we just needed an untapped land there, and it did not happen. Or any land there. I keep on saying untapped, but that's not even true. So I can petition here for it. I think I'm going to pour over pages. Did not find. Get rid of one Dark Petition. We'll play Otawara. Grazer. Lotus Field. Technically, we can still win this turn if I impulse into a Hidden Strings. That also did not happen. Okay. Bala Ged Recovery. We'll get back Hidden Strings and try again next turn. Assuming that we get another turn. Spikefield Hazard at me. 17 life. Elspeth conquers death. We will block the Atraxa. And now it's party time. It's definitely party time. Hidden Strings. Hidden Strings is still on the stack here. Bill, Spikefield Hazard me. Sure. They thought for like 3 minutes over that. Okay, so if I Ultimatum, I get Omniscience. I don't want to get the... I'm just going to Peer. I guess I can't cast Peer this way. Undo. You might be saying, why not Ultimatum? I don't want to discard Dark Petition and the Peer into the Abyss. That would be the reason why. Okay, and from here it's pretty smooth sailing. Untap. Cycle Vizier. 19 cards left in deck. No Omniscience yet. And I say yet because we will find it. Take a draw. There's the Lair. 4 over pages. Keep on saying over pages, not the pages. 4 over the pages. Discard the Scrying. And there's the Omniscience. Play it. Easy game from here. Play Lier. We will cast Bala Ged Recovery, returning Peer into the Abyss. Peer into the Abyss targeting them. Bala Ged Recovery, Peer into the Abyss. Peer into the Abyss targeting them. Hidden Strings, untap our land. Why not? Let's Shimmer. Take Impulse. Impulse. Take Pore. Pore over the pages. Untap, discard this Sylvan Scrying. And there's the final Bala Ged Recovery. Okay, so now we'll cast this, returning the Peer. Peer them. Tap for green. Bala Ged Recovery. Return the Peer. Peer them again. This brings them to 1. And then we flashback Peer. Easy game. We definitely want the Perilous Voyages. Get rid of these Grazers. It's 58 cards. I mean, I guess I can bring in the Hope Tenders, but they're not great here. Our opponent had removal for them. Our opponent reveals Yorion. We'll keep. Our hand's fine. We have obviously 2 lands, Scrying, Shimmer. We need to find another land, and then this hand is all set. That's a pretty good land. So now we can even use the Scrying to find another land if need be to sacrifice to the Lotus Field. Deafening Silence, sure. We'll play a Beseiju, and then let's Scrying for another. Another Deafening Silence, okay? You kept a 1-lander just for that? Hope Tender. Lotus Field. Pass the turn. They Fiery Impulse, my Hope Tender. You got it. Let's copy the Thespian stage. 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 The I'm sorry, copy the Lotus Field. We'll pass. They pass. Vizier. That brings us up to 7. It's not quite good enough. Let's shimmer, see what we can find here. I think we want to take... I mean, I could also just take the Lair, the Hydra, and beat them to death with it. I kind of like that idea. I think that this is super funny. Like, I could win another way, but I'd rather win by humiliating them with Lair, the Hydra. Ah, they found untap land. Okay. I'm going to Impulse. We find another Vizier. Let's take that. So I can put Omniscience into play now. Another Lotus Field. So this is 7, 8, 9. Besage would be 10. Alright, so that happened. We'll draw for the Vizier. We find another Impulse. Cycle. I'd like to find another untap land that isn't Besage if possible. Okay, we're playing Besage, I guess. Omniscience. Pass the turn. They get a Defender. They play the land. Fable, it's Impulse. Take Pore over the pages, I guess. Sylvan's Scrying. Technically, I think Behold just wins here. So we could Behold for, like, Otawara, I don't know, Peer? That's so boring, but I think it's the right move. Fine. And you're selecting Otawara because it doesn't give our opponent a mana to interact. We'll get rid of Deafening Silence. Get rid of Deafening Silence. Here, straight into the Abyss. Pour over the pages. Untap, untap. Discard a land. We will return Peer into the Abyss. Start win this game. Okay. So this puts them to 5. Cast Pore. Untap, untap. Discard a land. Hidden Strings will tap their 2 creatures. And we will Pore again. Discard a land. Activate the Hydra. I said I would win with it. We're going to win with it. 12/12 Hydra. Get in there. Boom. 3-1, 1 match left. The Best Legacy podcast? That would be Eternal Glory featuring myself, Bryant Cook, alongside Brian Cobal and Phil Gallagher. We're available on all major podcast platforms and YouTube. The final match, and we've opened up a pretty good one, Keep. We don't have an initial green source, but this hand is fine. Urborg. Pass. Omniscience, okay. So one awkward thing about this hand, obviously double Lotus Field is a little bit awkward, but we also have double Otawara, which means that if I want to play out this Lotus Field, I need to play out stage first unless I draw another land, such as Temple of Mystery. Trigger. We can bottom that. We don't really need a Sylvan Scrying. Haunted Ridge. And a Graveyard Trespasser. Okay. Sort of a slow opening for that deck. Lier. Grazer. Lotus Field. Pass. Grazer, we hardly knew you. Okay, the Graveyard Trespasser is trespassing. Paraxa. Discard this spare Lotus Field. Okay, we draw Hidden Strings. That was huge. I think we're actually supposed to just copy and pass, though. You could try to win this turn. Just a little messy. And I think I'm going to hold the Otawara in case of Shield Red. Thoughtseize, that's brutal. Ouch. They take the Omniscience. And now they're going to exile it, so it means that if we want to win, we have to win with Lair the Hydra against the Fatal Push deck. Not in a spot that I wanted to be in. Reckoner, Bankbuster, Blood Crypt, 1 card in hand. Another Lotus Field. Let's cycle the Vizier. We need to find something if we want to win this. Draw. I mean, it's something we can use, so let's see what we can do. Hidden Strings. By something I can use, I mean Impulse with Lier. We get to look at 8 cards. Cast the Impulse. Emergent Ultimatum. A good one. Lier. Land for turn. Hidden Strings on the Lotus Field. Yes, yes, yes. Siphons onto the Lier. Black, green. Emergent Ultimatum. Turn to the Abyss. Behold. Pour over pages. We'll cast Peer targeting us, and then the Behold. So we will discard Lotus Field. Pick up Hidden Strings. Hidden Strings. Why not? Hidden Strings. Turn to the Abyss. Cycle the Vizier, untap Lotus Field. Draw. Cycle Vizier. Untap. Draw. There's the Hydra. We'll tap their lands just to make sure that we don't lose to a removal spell. Hidden Strings. Pour over the pages. Untap, untap. Discard Scrying. 15 cards left in deck. Hidden Strings. Just looking to make a bunch of mana here. Pour over the pages. Discard a Scrying. 12 cards left in deck. Pour over the pages. Okay, discard a Forest, I guess. There's a Grazer. Tap for green, play Grazer. Put the Hydra on the battlefield. Okay, let's start accelerating this a little bit. Yes, yes, no. So this is 16 mana. Hidden Strings will bring us up to 20 mana. Yes, yes, no. This appears to be my last Hidden Strings, is that correct? Because one's under here. So I guess we'll Bala Ged it back. Makes 1 mana. Untap, untap. And now we'll copy. Tap for 3 mana. Cast Pore over the pages. Untap, untap. Discard a land. Blue, green. Hidden Strings, untap. Yes, yes, no. Tap for green, and now the Hydra's lethal. I will say this, I was not a believer in Lair of the Hydra initially, and the card's overperformed. Like, I'm actually pretty convinced this is a great backup win condition. Swing better, better. Okay. Leyline of Sanctity comes in. We want Perilous Voyage as well. Get rid of the Grazers. And this Hope Tender. Game 2. We've opened up with Leyline in hand. We don't have any way to find Lotus Field. I think this hand's a little too clunky. Okay, well, if we find a blue source, this hand is kind of insane, so we'll keep it. Get rid of the Ultimatum. Leyline on the battlefield. Okay, so we're asking to draw a blue land. Shouldn't be that difficult of an ask. Blood Crypt pass. Draw. That's a good one. So now a blue or green land. Hive of the Eye Tyrant. Phyrexa. Phyrexa's a good one. We'll get rid of the Shimmer. Draw. There's our land. Trigger. I think we're supposed to bottom that. Pass. Bone Crusher. Sure. And we just draw the Lotus Field. So let's Impulse now. Guess we take a stage? Would have liked to find an action spell there. Pass. Bone Crusher gets in, we'll fall to 16 life. Land 4, they have 4 cards in hand, no play. Dark Petition. That is one I am happy to see. We'll copy. Pass the turn. So next turn we have land for turn, which brings us up to 7 mana. Hidden Strings is +4. That's 11 mana. 11 minus 2 for Dark Petition is 9 mana. 9 mana is exactly enough to peer into the abyss with 2 floating. 2 floating is the key number because you need to cast Hidden Strings or use a Vizier after. So we have the win in hand, assuming your opponent doesn't do anything here. They get in, we'll go to 12. Liliana. She would have been very good on turn 3, not so much anymore. Draw for turn. Impulse. So we'll do blue, blue. Tap the stage for a colorless. Hidden strings. Untap, untap. Yes, yes, no. Tap the Lotus Field for black. We'll cast Dark Petition. Go get the Peer. Straight into the Abyss. That's where we're going. I mean, we also could have gotten Ultimatum there. I don't think it really matters, to be honest. What I dislike about Ultimatum in those spots is all the extra work. Okay, let's cycle some Viziers. Cycle another Vizier. Brings us up to 8 mana. Cycle another Vizier. Untap. That's 9 mana. 10 mana is what we need for the Omniscience. So Pore over the pages will get us there. Untap, untap, discard a scrying. And now we have 10. Omniscience. Cast Pore. Sweet. We went 4-1. I kind of called it after we lost the mirror match. I've been running really hot with this deck recently. And even the one loss where I didn't silence them was kind of my own fault. Like, I had the read and I was just so terrified of Boseiju blowing up the stage that I played terribly. So, I don't know. Don't play poorly, I guess, is the message here. This deck list is very good. I don't think I was a big fan of the Hope Tenders. I'm probably going to get rid of them. I'm going to duplicate this. So, before I recorded this, last night I was playing... And I didn't lie to you in the deck tech. I've been playing this deck a ton. This is what I was on here. So, +1 Perilous Voyage. So this was my 75 as of last night, and I really liked it. But against red-green, I kept on losing by a turn. Like in game, like consistently, I would be behind 1 turn. So losing game 1 all the time against red-green is kind of bad if like you lose the die roll and they turn for you. And you're like, oh, that stinks. I didn't open on one of my 4 grazers. The problem with Hope Tender is it's just kind of bad. Like, yeah, it's really sweet when you get to hidden strings your Hope Tender and make a bunch of mana, but it doesn't actually help you in a lot of ways. So I don't think it's awful. I'm just lower on it than most people. I don't think you necessarily need these untappers in your deck. They do make you faster in the mirror, but I can't help but wonder if instead of being faster, if you should be slowing down. So like effects like Silence, I think are actually very good. We just didn't happen to win the mirror match. That happens sometimes, so no need to dwell. And let's open up these chests, see what we got today. Ooh, we opened up a Minskin Boo. I wonder if that's worth anything. Stained Glass Shahili? Or maybe it's not Stained Glass, I don't know. Well, thanks for watching, I do appreciate it. Have a great day. Keep storming. Hey, Bryant Cook here. I hope you enjoyed this video. If you did, please like and subscribe, but also follow the social media channels down below. If you want to support this content directly, I would recommend going to theepicstorm.com/shop. And if you need a little bit of assistance with the Epic Storm to get to that next level, I would recommend going to theepicstorm.com/tutoring. Don't worry, there's more great content coming right up.